Mind sanitation. How can you and how should you behave, act to clean and sanitize your mind? We know that today most people's minds have become one big waste bin. Mental waste, because so much information has never been produced worldwide. But unfortunately, most of this information is not positive, edifying, but it is dirty, useless, harmful, slanderous, false, lying, lewd, and all that leads a person to have their minds just as the inside of a rubbish truck. So what is mental sanitation? Well, mental sanitation is taking from the mind the dirty thoughts impregnated on it that are there, stuck in your mind, in a way that you involuntarily keep on thinking or bringing back to your memory, to your imagination, these ideas, these thoughts, dirty images that hurt you, and you know they are bad for you. Because dirty thoughts, destructive thoughts, they cause depression, they cause anxiety, all the evils of the soul, all the mental, psychological evil come from evil thoughts. If people understood that and knew how to deal with that, they wouldn't be using so much money with medication to help with their mood, to anesthetize their flesh, their body, trying to calm the mind. Once, the problem is not in the body, but in the spirit. The spirit is connected with the mind, with what we think. So the evils of the soul are a result of this bad thought, because a person with bad thoughts tends to self-sabotage. How many times a person is preparing for an important moment, let's say to take their driving test or a job interview, and the terrible, dirty, negative thoughts come to their minds saying, you won't make it, you are dumb, you didn't study, you didn't revise, who do you think you are? And when the person finds themselves in that moment, they sabotage themselves and they destroy their opportunities with their own hands because they have become their worst enemy. How many, in the moment to approach someone for a relationship and commit so many mistakes, they tell lies. When they least realize, they have already made up stories because they're afraid of rejection. They have traumas, bad thoughts that accumulated since their childhood, and they didn't manage to remove those traumas from them and affect their lives until today. Which, by the way, make a test. If I ask you, or any person, if I ask to any person, what is your first memory? What do you remember? What is your earliest memory? How old were you? 3 years old, 4 years old, 2 years old? I don't know. What is the first thing you remember when you were aware that you were alive? Think about it. Did you? I don't bet, but if I did, I would bet that what you have remembered was a bad memory. What you remembered was something bad. A fight between your parents, a beating you took, a problem at school, something bad that happened that marked you. And this is your first memory. Do you know why the first memory of people is bad? Because the human mind tends to record negative experiences much more than positive ones. It's as if the negative memories, they had a super glue that they stuck to our mind, and it's hard to remove them. They are recorded there in our memory. The memory of rejection, the memory when your father left the house, when your father or mother hurt physically your other parent, something that happened in school, like bullying, all these bad experiences, the abuse you suffered, all the bad experiences, they tend to be impregnated in our inside. So mental sanitation involves you pulling those thoughts that are negative, dirty, out of your mind, that are stuck in your mind. Well, what do you have to do about it? First thing, let's go. The first thing you must do is to identify recurring bad thoughts. Identify them. What kind of dirt appears out of the blue in your mind? Identify it. I gave already a few examples here. To solve a problem first, you must identify the problem. So what thoughts come to your mind? Do you tend to see yourself as inferior to others? Do you tend to diminish yourself before others? To see yourself as an incapable, not intelligent person? You feel discriminated, or you discriminate yourself because you were born poor, you grew up poor, you didn't have much education, and you discriminate yourself? Are these your thoughts? Do you discriminate yourself because of your social condition, your skin complexion, because you've suffered rejection, because of your appearance, you don't see yourself as a beautiful, handsome person, and because of that you exclude yourself? What thoughts come to your mind? Maybe because you exposed yourself to pornography, content of sexual activity, disordered sexual activity. You dirt your mind in such a way that when you look at them, you strip them off of their clothes with your eyes. You have all sort of sexual imagination because of what you've consumed through the internet or other means. What are the bad thoughts, dirty thoughts you have? Do you have thoughts about death? Thoughts on killing, on doing something evil towards someone, towards animals? Do you have evil thoughts? Identify what dirty thoughts, bad ones, that recur to your mind. Identify it. It would be good for you to write it down. Usually I have this type of thought, because first you identify it. This is the problem. This is what I have in my mind. First step, identify the bad thoughts that are recurring in your life. If you are an envious, malicious person, you have bad eyes towards everyone, what happens? What are the thoughts? Then put them on a paper. Did you identify it? Very well. Next step. Stop bringing what caused or is causing these thoughts into your mind. Stop. Stop feeding these thoughts with more information from the same source that caused them to happen when it started. What are you watching that promotes this? Stop watching that. Stop consuming this content. It doesn't matter if it's TV series, soap opera, films, WhatsApp videos, are chats, groups that they feed one movie, video there for you to watch. Stop following on social media people who promote this type of idea. Remove from your TV the channels that bring this to you. Stop. Eliminate this content that you have been watching. What music have you been listening to? Don't you have to sanitize your mobile phone before sanitizing your mind? Yes, it's a good start. sanitize the playlists from your mobile phone that usually you listen to. At the beginning of my walk of faith, I had certain musical tastes that I didn't know that stimulated what was bad in me. I liked the rhythm, I liked the sound, the instruments, the musical genre. Well, my flesh liked, not my mind, because my mind was troubled. My mind was troubled when I heard those songs, but my flesh enjoyed it. I had to throw away, I had to remove that from my life. So have you been listening to songs that stimulate these thoughts to you? Remove it. It doesn't matter how much you paid. Remove that. What have you been reading? What informations have you been consuming? News, channels? Do you consume rubbish through the internet, via news, fake news, content that brings you entertainment, a high level of entertainment? Because entertainment is what happens when you're doing nothing useful. Don't forget that. It is entertainment. Something that happens between moments of productivity. So when you're going through entertainment, you are simply anesthetizing your mind. Maybe you read, consume content with a high level of entertainment. You can spend hours doing it and you don't see the time going by. But the result of it is negative. The result on your mind is terrible. So you will cut out this from your life. And remember, the next message, I will speak about the online world and the real world. I want to extend myself. I already gave you 2 steps. First, identify the bad thoughts you have been having, that you realize that they dirty your mind. Second, to stop bringing what caused them. And then your mental sanitation starts, does not end, we are just starting. The next message, connect here with us, because we will go on with this urgent and necessary topic for nowadays. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.